What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. I am getting sick and tired of Shaquille O'Neal continuously berating, discouraging, belittling, being so condescending to Charles Barkley and his opinions, all because he's never won an NBA championship. We all know about that big blow up they had years ago when Chuck said, does LeBron James need all the help? When LeBron James asking for more and more players, even already after having a super team, said they were top heavy, blah, 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 blah. And Shaq disagreed with him. And he always comes back to, you can't talk about this. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the right to talk about this. Your opinion doesn't matter because you've never won a championship ring. And he's done this more times after that big explosion on TNT a couple years ago. And then he did it again. Take a look at this.
Bad. I got to listen to those dudes on ESPN talk about how the Lakers are contenders tomorrow, and they're gonna be the number 9 seed, where they always are.
Oh, you weren't impressed.
You sound bitter.
You were not impressed.
No, these guys.
But they're at the top of the West right now. That's all that matters right now.
They're gonna beat a dead horse tomorrow. They'll be like, the Lakers are contenders. The Lakers are contenders, and they know.
Alone at the top of the West. Top of the West.
Listen,
right now. Stop being a Laker hater.
I'm not a Laker hater. I just hate when we gas these teams up. They ain't no good.
Hey, 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
Hey, Matt, don't worry about my rings.
Matt Murphy is.
Thank you,
Matt.
Tell him, Matt. I love Matt. I love when people call me ringles. Like my life sucks. My life is better than yours, Matt.
You don't know. You don't know what Matt's so. You don't know exactly what Matt's.
Hey, I don't have to have no ring. You don't want to brag about your ring. You and Matt. Matt's just an idiot like you are.
What do you know about Matt's life? You don't know what kind of.
Hey, let me tell you something, Ernie.
I have to agree with Chuck on this.
There's very few people got a better life than me. There's very few people got a life than me. Hey, listen.
That bet.
If you ever disrespect the rings again, man, you're going to have.
No, you can't. I'm glad you guys got rings.
This is about ring and ringless.
Hey, I understand that. You can brag about all your rings.
And I will. I got 4
and I'm happy for you. And I'm happy for you.
And I'm happy for you, too.
Do you really? I had no idea you had those.
I just bet.
You never bring that up.
I only bet that his life was better than mine.
Meantime, I'll take that bet.
And you can hear it in Shaq's voice. You can hear it in his tone. You can feel it that Shaq was starting to get serious. And he was basically daring Chuck to give him a serious rebuttal back. But I've noticed something about Chuck is that lately he's been the bigger man when Shaq starts bringing up this ring stuff and trying to get serious with it. And Chuck just kind of playfully or in a non-combative manner downplays it and, says what he has to say and is ready to move on. I'm pretty sure Chuck is done with it. And I get it. And I wouldn't even get mad if Chuck just met him with fire every time, because it's beyond ridiculous and it's beyond petty and it's absurd. The crazy thing is, in all of these situations, Chuck isn't coming at Shaq like saying things like, Shaq, I'm a better player than you. Shaq, I'm the greatest forward to ever play the game of basketball. I'm this, I'm that. I'm Charles Barkley. I'm so great. This, that, and the third. He's never saying anything like that. It's not even like that. He's just giving an honest basketball opinion about a topic like everyone else. But because Shaq disagrees with him, especially if it's something that has to do with a championship or championship caliber team or championship caliber player or championship aspirations, especially if it has to do with something like that, he'll just throw that at Chuck. If they're in disagreement, you don't have a ring. You can't talk about this. But if they agree on something, then he doesn't say that. Well, why should it matter if you agree or disagree? If he doesn't have a ring, then he can't talk about it, period. It's so petty what Shaq does. I'm just looking at Shaq's logic and why it doesn't make sense for so many reasons. He'll sit here and say, Kenny Smith can talk about it. Kenny Smith has a right to talk about it because Kenny has a championship. Give a damn if Kenny Smith has a championship. Kenny Smith wasn't half the basketball player Charles Barkley was. Kenny Smith couldn't nosedive or cannonball into half of one of Charles Barkley's shoes. Kenny Smith wasn't some driving force. Kenny Smith wasn't Hakeem Olajuwon. We are talking about Charles effing Barkley here. And it's crazy to me. And he only does this with Chuck because Shaq has his own podcast. Shaq's been on other podcasts. Shaq's been on other shows. And he's been sat down with players and past players that don't have championships. And when he disagrees with them, he never tells those other guys, you can't talk about this. You ain't got a championship. Where's your ring? You ringless. Get one and we could talk about it. I'm G whatever classified. You can't talk about this. I could talk about this. He doesn't do that with anybody else. Just Chuck. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm really starting to dislike Shaq when he acts like a child and acts petty so many times. You can't form an argument, Shaq, against Chuck. You can't build a foundation with supporting facts without being petty and always going to, you ain't got a championship, you can't talk about this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Charles Barkley, one of the greatest forwards to ever play the game. Not only one of the greatest forwards ever, undersized at his position. Way undersized. So supremely skilled. We are talking about a one-time most valuable player in 1993 during a time where Michael Jordan was playing. We are talking about an 11-time NBA All-Star in Charles Barkley. 5-time All-NBA First Team, Charles Barkley. 5-time All-NBA Second Team, Charles Barkley. An undersized basketball player that led the league in rebounding the entire NBA. At his size, Charles Barkley is the same height as Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, 6'6", led the league in rebounding. In the year I was born, 1987. What are you talking about? You can't keep disrespecting this man like that, Shaq. You don't say that to anybody else without rings. Charles Barkley is a made man. And if you gave me a choice, would I rather be Kenny Smith with 2 championships, with Hakeem being the best player, or would I rather want Charles Barkley's career with no championships? I'd much rather have Charles Barkley's career with 0 championships than be Kenny the Jet Smith as some supporting player, a good one, but a supporting player under Hakeem Olajuwon. Make no mistake about it. Chuck has a right to talk about basketball subjects just like anybody else has a right to talk about it. People that aren't even in the NBA, that are professional analysts on TV and reporters. And anybody out here on these smaller platforms on YouTube and the independent spaces. You'll get up here and talk with people that's never played the game of basketball before and won't keep that same energy with them. But you're going to sit here and tell Charles Barkley he can't talk about NBA subject matter because he doesn't have a championship, because you're petty and you don't know how to build an argument and debate? I'm getting tired of you, Shaq. I'm getting tired of this guy, man. I'm getting so tired. He's becoming unlikable for me. He is. He is. And while I thought at one point it was funny initially with, going at Dwight Howard and Joe McGee and Rudy Gobert, even that now, I'm getting sick and tired of it. He won't leave it alone. For such a big guy and his supposed ego, he's so damn sensitive and so damn fragile and takes everything personally, even when people aren't talking to him. Nobody's minding him at all. But he finds his way to make something that's actually nothing out of nothing. He's so insecure about his career. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. How could you have Shaq's career and be so insecure? Granted, I agree. Shaq left a lot on the table. Kobe Bryant said in his career, he could have been an even better player. He could have had an even better career had he took the game more seriously, had he took his health more seriously, his conditioning more seriously. He could have been. But even with that being said, he still has an all-time great Hall of Fame, top 10 worthy career. With all that being said, and you can still be so insecure? Come on, man. It's getting ridiculous. It's past ridiculous now. You need to stop throwing that in Charles Barkley's face. And now you got people out here gobbling it up. People that's never seen Charles Barkley play really don't understand how great Charles Barkley was, out here calling him ringless. And like he garbage because he's never won a ring. And Charles Barkley is one of those players who sit firmly in that space, in that category. That is, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, this guy more than likely would have won an NBA championship. At least one. Thank Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls for stopping Charles Barkley from getting that championship, although being so close. Ain't gonna keep doing this, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Sound off in the comments section. That's all I have to say. Let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. Thank you, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.